Good morning, warriors. Fernando here, God's Prepared Warrior, and welcome to Friday. We made it. We made it to Friday. Praise the Lord. All right, so today I want to talk about practicing with your preps. You might be saying, Fernando, you've talked to us about that before. Yes, I have, but I want to specifically talk about boomsticks, right? When I say that word, I can't say the other word because the YouTube gods will, cancel or not even post my video for today. So today we're talking about boomsticks, the things that go pop, 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 right? So I want to talk about that today because, talking about practicing with our preps, I think is important for us. My vehicle's really loud. So I think that's important for us to do. It's not just good enough for us to have these things. And I think it's really important for us to practice, right? Owning it doesn't make you ready. And a lot of people say, well, I want to get a gun or a boomstick for protection, right? And I get it. That's a great thing, but having it doesn't make you ready. Training with it does, right? And so I want to talk about this subject because a lot of people have them, right? But far fewer of those people who have them actually train with them, right? They store them and they clean them occasionally, maybe, and maybe not even that. And they maybe take them out once in a while, maybe just to look at them. I don't know. But in a real situation, you won't rise to what you own, you'll fall to what you've really actually practiced. So it's important for us to practice with them, right? People think that having it is enough, and that is simply not true. It's not. Without training, stress takes over, right? Accuracy drops. Decision making is really slow, right? If you've seen a movie, and you'll know what I'm talking about when someone who's never picked up a gun, how their reaction is, right? And so movies portray that really well. But when that happens, that's where mistakes happen, right? What we should be training, and what does that look like? Well, we always need to start with safety, right? Safety always first, right? Before anything else, we should know how your boomstick operates, how it works. Practice safe handling at all times, right? Be disciplined every time, no exceptions, right? Safety is not optional. Is not an optional thing here. It's a foundational thing when it comes to your protection, right? You should be building consistency, not just skill, right? I know we talked about skills yesterday, and this is one of the skill sets that you could talk about in yesterday's video. But you got to build consistency on that. You got to know the inner workings of that piece of equipment. You got to know how to take it apart to clean it. You got to know that it needs to be clean for it to really function well. You have to build that consistency. Training isn't about one good day at the range. It's not. It's multiple opportunities to go out and to practice, right? It's about repetition. The more you handle it, the more you use it, the more you become accustomed to it, right? Some of the things you can work on are how you grip it, right? What is your stance? Learn those things. Um, you know, Maybe it's learning smooth, controlled movement with your boomstick, right? Um, Maybe it's your trigger discipline, right? Um, you know, all of them are different, right? And each trigger is different, and so you can't rely on one gun to be the same like another gun. It's not. It's totally different. So, and then you should make targets a focus, right? You want to be able to hit what you're aiming at, right? You're building this muscle memory when it comes to using your boomsticks, right? I think we should also train under different conditions. The range is totally different than a obstacle course, right? Because on an obstacle course, you're timed, and there's several places to either stand or even run to, right? And so it trains your mind to remember those things. Where at range, you're just kind of standing still the whole time, or sitting, depending on where you are in the range. If you're at the handgun shoot, then you're standing and you're aiming ahead. Maybe you're at the rifle table, and you're probably sitting down, rifle rested, to be able to hit the target, right? So train under different conditions, right? Real life will not be perfect. I'm telling you, real life is going to be totally different, right? So don't train only in perfect conditions. Practice in low light, right? Maybe it's a night training. Maybe it's a night running gun, right? Train when you're tired. Add times of pressure, right? Change the distance of where you're aiming towards, right? This builds adaptability. You become adaptable in different kinds of situations, right? I would include, decision-making opportunities, right? I think this is critical, because training is not just about hitting the target. It's about knowing when to act, right? It's training yourself on maybe your local laws, maybe what it's like if somebody breaks into your home. Are you able to take care of them, or are there laws against that? It's important for you to know those things, right? Knowing when to act, knowing when not to act, right? Those are important. Staying calm under pressure, right? Discipline matters more than speed. I'm going to tell you that. Maintain your equipment, right? Learn how to clean it, right? Learn how to clean your boomstick. It has to be clean. It has to function properly, and then you should store it safely. Should be stored safely, and away from children. Guns are not things for kids to play with, and I see too many times where children are in an accident, or they're no longer with us because somebody didn't properly put away their boomstick, and the kids got to it, right? So we got to be able to maintain those things, make sure that they're working properly, because equipment failure in a critical moment, that's not an option, right? It needs to function. Train your household, right, appropriately, right? If others in your home are part of your plan, make sure they understand, right? Make sure they understand safety. Make sure you give them clear roles, right? Make sure you put a plan for them on those things too as well. And then train at their level. I think that's an important thing, because a prepared home is a trained home, right? You've heard me say that so many times before. A prepared warrior is not reckless. A prepared warrior is controlled, disciplined, and trained, right? A prepared warrior doesn't rely on confidence alone. She relies on practice under pressure. Preparation is not just physical. It's also spiritual discipline, right? The book of Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3, says the prudent see danger and they take refuge. Training is part of seeing the danger ahead. It's seeing the danger way ahead of time, right? It's choosing to be ready before you need to be ready, right? So don't just own a boomstick and put it away. Train with them, respect them, master them, because in a moment, in a moment that matters, skill, discipline, clarity will make the difference, right? So happy Friday, guys, and practice with your boomsticks. And remember, stay vigilant, stay prepared always, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. God bless.